Hey guys, Mr. Jerry here. Doing an updated lesson on putting in a topo surface in Revit. This is Revit 2024, which is significantly different, which is the reason for the new video. I've got Marley's house open here and we're going to get started in just all right. I managed to get this done once. You can see the grass lawn here. It's just a basic square yard. I'm going to see if I can start from scratch and do this all over again. So I'm going to delete this topo surface. I'm in the 3D view, but we could do this probably in the site view, which would be a logical place to do it. So I'm going to go to site, and we could have our lot match our property boundaries, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm more concerned about putting it in near where the house is. So in order to do that, we need to go to the tab that is massing in site. We're going to go to Topo Solid, and I'm going to do a simple one with first we're going to trace the outside of the house, and then we're going to draw an additional rectangle. So some of you may have done this originally. You did not pick the walls. This will allow us to cut it out. So we're not doing that. Actually, change my mind. I'm going to go to this ground level that Marley created instead, because I can get the better picture. It's just a duplicate of the first floor. So I'm going to pick the walls here, and this is a little bit of a pain for her house because she's got so many different walls, and sometimes when it picks the walls, it doesn't always pick it correctly. I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm going to click through all of these. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, I've selected all the walls, but there was an error over here. I didn't pick one. You can see over here that this piece went extended beyond. So I can just grab the line tool and I can connect a line from here to here. So I can close that up. I can also, I'm going to hit the escape and just come in here and modify this, because we don't want these lines to pass by each other. So this one needs to, you can either use the trim, or I like to just drag it. It's easier. I think I have this thing. Well, there's one mistake over here. I'm going to hit OK just so you can see what happens when you get an error. It's going to say lines cannot intersect. So I'm going to hit the continue button. I'm going to come over here and fix this guy. And before I hit OK, I'm actually going to now draw a big rectangle outside my house. So, and if this works as it did last time, we should see that, whoops, I'm going to undo that, draw that square one more time. Zoom out, draw a little bit bigger square. So this is going to be my site, and I should call up the info on this. I just took a second to call up this properties window, and it's currently being set to the level of first floor, but I want to change that. We created a ground level at 0. You'd have to do that ahead of time, or you could move it. You could set it to the first floor and then just move it later. That's not a big deal. You can create that level afterwards. All right, so we have our surface now. I'm going to go back to massing in site, and I'm going to just go ahead and hit OK. So lines cannot intersect, or I'm going to pause it. Okay, I missed this little spot right here, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. And hopefully I'm good to go now, and I am. And you can see that it created my surface and it cut out the area for my house. Now I've watched a bunch of videos online where they do that differently, but I think this is the logical way to do it. Okay, so let's take a look at that now, and let's edit that topo surface, because the surface that they gave you does not include the grass that I've created, and I also don't like the thickness of it. So we're going to go to the topo solid here, and we're going to edit that, and you can give it another name. We can duplicate it and say, you know, call it your own. I'm going to call it Dairy Topo Solid. Whoops, get my cap locks on there. And then we're going to go in and edit the structure. Okay, you notice that I've added a finished layer of grass. I'm going to delete that and then show you how I did that. So let me just delete, let me click on that layer and hit delete. And I've also added some different properties to this that I want to change as well. So let's add that layer first, and it puts it in at the, well, I guess it put it in up there. That's okay. I'm going to call it a finish layer. We can call it whatever we want. And I'm going to give it 2 inches of thickness. Under category here, I have added grass. So under these materials, I had to search, and under AC materials, I had to add grass. So you can see that's here as a material. I've already added it, but it should show up down here if you open this up. And if you double click on this and hit OK, it should add that grass to your material. All right, I'm going to edit that grass because I want it under the appearance. I'm sorry, under graphics, under this pattern, I want to give it a pattern, and I want it to have it look like wood. And I'll show you why in a second. So I hit OK. So that's got that pattern. Now I'm going to go to the structure layer, earth, and I'm going to change this to be 8 feet. So it's going to make this solid much thicker. I'm going to double click on this property and make sure that you've selected earth as a material, and it should have this fill pattern as well. And if I hit OK and hit OK now, when we look at this in the 3D, and let me look at it from an angle, you should see, if you've got realistic selected, it should show that we've got several feet of dirt below here, and we've got some grass on top. Now right now we have a flat lawn. I'm going to get into editing the points to give it some contour in just a second here. But before I do that, I want to show you what has happened to Marley's detailed section. When we go in here now, you can see, and this is how it should be, you can see that there is earth that is cut out of or showing up in our sectional view. This is the finished basement, and this is the earth. Now there's a way for us to cut out this piece right here. I may get to that or not, because I'm going to have to relook that up, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So the fact that we've got some grass, we've got some dirt, this is starting to look a little bit more realistic. All right, I'm going to pause this video for a second because I want to get into the points. Okay, I'm back in my ground level view here, and I've got my topo surface here, or topo solid, rather I should say. I'm going to click on it, and then under modify topo solid, I'm going to hit modify elements, and notice that all these points show up. And because we traced the house, all of these points were currently set to the value that we set for the level. It made it perfectly flat. I'm going to make my backyard have a hill. So I'm going to click on this point. Instead of it being at ground level 0, I'm going to put it at a foot. And I'm going to put this one at 1.5 feet. Whoops. 1.5. And you'll start to see that it's putting these contours in. And let's say I want my front yard to slope down. So I'm going to say that's -1. And I'm going to say this is going to, maybe this is even lower. I'm going to make that -2. And let's see what happens when we do that. We can also add an additional point. Let's say that this point of the yard was also -2. So I could add a point here. And when I click on that point, whoops, you can see now I'm starting to get some contour lines going in on my site. And if I go to my 3D view now, it's going to start to look a little bit more interesting, right? You can see my backyard slopes up a little bit and my front yard is sloping down. So I don't know how far we're going to get because we've only got a few days left, but I figured I'd throw this in there and I think we'd have some more fun with it.